All right, there we go. Hi there, folks. I'm trying to get organized here. There we go. Hi there, folks. I'm trying to get organized here. All right, so let's see here. Not seeing chat. Should be seeing. There we go. Now I'm seeing chat. Yeah, I see that Sean got pole position. So yeah, Sean, this one's for you. I'm about to work on your Puma 89 Puma Special, which maybe you can see, maybe you can't. It's always hard to find the angle. That's kind of an angle. Anyway, I'm going to hone this on the Shoboudani or Shoboudani, I can never remember which the word is. Karasu. Supposedly, this was provided to me by Eric, and if it had stamps, I'm told that the stamps would be Nakayama and Maruka, but doesn't have stamps, so it's a stone. I have honed on this before and really like it. I haven't done any kind of. It's supposedly like a 4.5, 4.5. It feels to me harder than that, but I haven't measured any of these. I like it a lot. So let's see here. This is a conversation. Hi, Dolomite. Hey, Joe. How you doing? Hey, Josiah. How you doing? And also Bibit. How are you? Okay, so I'm trying to get particles off the top of this stone. It's flat. There we go. So we'll get going. So the goal is to take Sean's edge off of this stone, which, as you can see, is already very good. So the goal is to take an excellent edge and ruin it with honing. And the way I'm going to do that is to go back, do a little bit. All that's happening with a refresh is to effectively replace an edge. Oh, hey, Eric. I was just talking about your stone here, which I received from some guy in Louisiana. So obviously I don't know who to send it back to. I like the stone a lot, and just for the rest of you, that's a bit of a joke. I was able to purchase this from Eric, but I like to maintain the idea that if I like something, you never get it back. So some guy named Sean provided this. I might forget that in the future. Okay, so anyway, going to go back to a little bit of Tenju to effectively knock back the edge a few microns, and then texture both the bevels and the edge, and that's all this needs. I don't need to do a lot of work in narrowing. I just need to replace the edge and effectively ruin it, so that Sean can see what an edge of mine is like. I suspect you will be, since you've done so much of your own honing in the last 2 years. Hard to believe you've been at this 2 years now, Sean. Since you've done a lot of your own honing in the last 2 years, this is going to seem like, just another edge. Because at the end of the day, you know, you'll feel a little bit of the texture of a stone. It's a Jnat, so it'll feel like a Jnat. The geometry on this razor is friggin' excellent. So you're gonna, you know, it'll shave like it did before. So let's get going. I don't have to use a ton of pressure because again, I don't need to remove a lot. This this razor lies nice and flat. So, and I can already tell that just you know from placing it on the stone. I didn't and I didn't really have to do. I haven't done any kind of measurement on it. Let's get some of this over here. We've got a little work on the toe to do, but not much. And as you can see, I've already got very nice undercut. That should be fairly underwhelming, given that I started with an already sharp razor. So the goal here is really to replace the edge, replace the scratch pattern. Sorry, replace the apex, replace the scratch pattern on both bevels, and then we're done. Might be nice if it was sharp when I'm done, but you know, we'll see about that. Let's see here. Catch up. Oh, let's see here. Oh, New York banned packing peanuts. Yeah, I saw that. I need another test method that I can show. Yeah, this is a beautiful stone. I mean, and just so you know, that makes for a better edge. The better looking the stone, the better the edge. And I admit that this and the catfish have been goals of mine for a long time because I'm shallow. It's all about how the stone looks. It would be nice if it honed well. But it's all about how it looks. Also, Sean, you probably want to just leave this razor with me because I'm honing without tape, which means I'm going to put an incredible amount of wear into the spine, ruining the looks. So there we are. We have a new kind of hazy looking to the eye bevel. This is not something you can see. I'm just sort of looking at the glint on the apex using light. Yeah, I don't think you can. I'll try to bring that up. Yeah, I don't know that I can show that to you. I've got to get better at this whole showing things in you know, close to the camera technique. That's not something I'm good at yet. But we're going to move to the Mahiro or Majiro. Not sure what the right pronunciation is. There's a 100% guarantee that I've got it wrong. I'll check to see with the packing peanut if I've knocked it back. We need a We need an alternative, the polystyrene. It's the material that makes this packing peanut useful. That skin of the polystyrene is unbelievably consistent. And that's what really makes it a great test mechanism for edges, or test material for edges. Problem with tomatoes is, of course, they vary in ripeness, and the skin varies in thickness. You know the drill. Yeah, that's true, Josiah. You can, you got to be independently wealthy to buy a rock dug up from the earth. That looks pretty. I am just following Eric's lead. I'm going to go to a local floor tiler and see if I can buy a tile. Something that looks really dense, really hard, and finish that up and see if I can make that work as a stone. I bet I can. It probably won't be the greatest finishing stone, but you never know. Let's see here. Yeah, that's right, Joe. The eco-friendly peanuts are useless. They don't really have a skin. The way and that's the problem with them. And the hair test is great if you if you're able to have a globally available standard for hair, which actually there is. Best testers. I don't know whether any of you know about a best tester. There can be your next project, Sean, is to look into BESS testers. That's an acronym. There's a standardized scale for measuring sharpness. I used to have. I can't remember what the name of the company is that sells a lot of them. I used to have one for knife sharpening, and I have I've gotten to the beyond the maximum sharpness that a knife is supposed to get. I've gotten close to the double-edged. The ideal sharpness is based on a double-edged razor blade, and getting there with a knife is difficult. And I've gotten very close with a knife, but you get a knife edge that sharp, and it's pretty useless. It's very, very thin. It's difficult for me to talk and do this. My normal method for honing is pretty silent and pretty focused on feel. You would think after doing a few of these videos that I would have figured out how to multitask, but no. And for those who haven't used this stone, all the different colors, sections, materials in the stone do not. That they all feel flat as you run the razor across the surface, and that's simply because the stone is flattened. One thing I did learn when I started using the stone is that it actually plumps a little bit when you soak it in water. So this stone was soaked a little bit before I started the video. Okay, let's see. Try to catch up. Oh, this rock was sold as a level 5. It's heavy, very fine. I agree with you, Eric. It also, I have a level 5 Nakayama, that this does not feel any softer than. And at the end of the day, hey Josh, at the end of the day, the hardness of the stone doesn't matter too much to me. Um, it relates to how easy the stone itself will give up its surface material. Um, okay, so let's see. We just did Mahiro? I think I ought to test, see where we are. Testing with a pink, slightly dense peanut. We're pushing silently, but I'm not surprised about that. I can tell you that, as I've said many times before, the nature of abrasion is always to shorten. Shorten this blade width. You can't get around it. You can prove it to yourself by taking a piece of wood and at an angle, running it across some sandpaper. You'll see that it gets shorter. Measure it before and after. Just do it long enough. Okay, let's see. So let's go with Karasu Tomo on a Karasu stone. That seems fitting. And this is where it feels to me like the stone's fairly hard, because it's not trivial to raise this slurry. I mean, for those of you who are kind of new to this, raising slurry, when you do this and raising a slurry on a stone, the idea is to remove particles from the Nagura, but at the same time, you're also removing particles from the stone itself. A Tomo Nagura, which is what this is in theory removing particles from the underlying stone and from the Nagura. With the coarser Nagura stones, you're primarily using the hardness of the underlying stone to remove particles from the Nagura. And so the trick to learning to use a Nagura progression on a stone is simply to learn to use the different Nagura slurries. And you like with all, or like as with most abrasion progressions, you just go from coarse to fine. Although in this case, I'm pretty sure we're moving to about 11,000 grit precisely, maybe 12,000 grit. Which makes this better, because if it was a conical, it would be 8,000 grit, and we know that's bad. Okay, so there's a nice slurry. I'm going to thin this down. I'm going to probably finish on very light slurry, because it's testing so well. I'm not sure I really need to push the edge. So when you, with all the Nagura, you do, if the Nagura is hard at all, it's going to texture the surface of the stone. And so I started to say, you want to keep that in mind when you're grinding on the stone with the Nagura. This needs a little. Because you want to be careful not to do a lot of gouging of the surface. This is easy because Sean has done all the work of. There was probably no work. I bet this razor was pretty perfect out of the gate in its geometry. I want this thing. Another thing I noticed about this particular stone is either moisture runs off of it, or it soaks it up, or a little of both. I'm I'm using, as I always say, I am using pressure here, but only enough to feel really what's happening at the apex. I'm trying to remove material at the apex, the angle, or skew, as JPL says. I love that. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. The skew helps with burr. The skew helps to keep the burr from riding up directly onto the bevel, turning the edge. This direction helps to scrape the burr off of the apex. And for knives, it helps you get more of the edge onto the stone. Beautiful. Feeling really good. Let's this is definitely diluting. We're now into the misty slurry area, and I've decided I really like misty slurry finishes. The edge will not be as keen as a pushed as if I pushed it on the stone. You know, took all the slurry off and went on plain water or soapy water or ONR or something. And you know, if I need to, if I can't refine the edge enough, then I have to push it. But the 2 times I've used this stone before, or 3 times, the times I've used this stone before, I've been very, very happy with an edge just off of a misty slurry. So this won't be as keen as optimally clean as possible, but I think it'll be more comfortable. I'd be interested to hear what anybody says about that. I should catch up with the comments. Yeah, Eric, that's a good comment about the catfish. Let's see. The Negura Dolomite, the Negura, they do have grades, and I have a variety of different grades in the Negura that I have, and I don't remember what that system is like. Somebody else can probably describe what that is. I honestly, it's particles of abrasive to me. Until you get to the end here, I mean, you ideally do want the range of abrasive sizes to be the same. You know, with pretty tight tolerances, you'd like that to be the case. Otherwise, you'll see like huge gouges in the scratch pattern on the bevel, which, by the way, is what you see with a lot of conical edges. If you look at the bevel, you'll see some very fine scratches, and then every once in a while you'll see a large sort of a gouge. That'll look like a gouge on my microscope. Won't look that on a normal one, but that's from variation in particle size, and that variation does limit the size of your apex. Limits refinement of the apex, but in terms of Negura, as I said, I have a mix of quality, and I really haven't seen an issue with that. Let's see here. Catch up. How do you, Eric? How do you do that? How do you assess hardness and fineness for? Are you talking? I assume you're talking about Negura. Maybe you're talking about stones. Let's see where we are here. So I think it's making a little bit of noise. I think I've managed to take it backwards here with the Karasu Negura. So let's try it with the Nakayama. This is more for fun than anything else. So Eric, you do it on color? Yeah, for the rest of you, I'm no expert in stones. I kind of do some research, and then if possible, try a stone, and then I'll if I can make it work for me, then I'm interested in buying it. If I can't make it work for me, then I'm not. I've certainly bought a lot of stones that didn't work for me at all. But I don't know how to. I'm not a person who knows enough about stones to do any kind of grading or assessment of the stone itself, besides how to sharpen with it. The thing, getting back to the packing peanut, you can do this without a peanut at all. I can do it by feeling the edge. You see JPO do that sometimes, but I can't if I'm doing a video and I do this and I say, oh yeah, that's good. That isn't going to tell you anything. So what's nice about the packing peanut is it's repeatable, it's standard, and I can show you. How it's going. I think we need a little more. Okay, Eric, I'm reading your comments here. Yeah, okay, well that makes sense. Okay, what you said makes a lot of sense to me, Eric. Okay, I'm going to go with the whole misty slurry approach. This is a heavier stone. You could hand hold it easily. Hand holding is not my pattern though. I'm so used to working at this height, which for a few of you, in my earlier videos, I used to say that, you know, the reason that you see this concoction, which you can't in this video, but there's a sink bridge on which is a stone holder, on which is a stone, and that's to get it at a comfortable height for me to sharpen standing pretty much all day long. Which there was a time in my life when I would sharpen knives for hours. So not anymore. Now I make a meal out of sharpening razors for far longer than it takes to sharpen a razor. All right, let's see where we've gotten. Pretty good, pretty good. I think we're going to go with a little more here. A little mistier solution. I need to get some of that back here. There we go. Again, the whole time here I've only used, because it's had a great edge on it, I've only ever used enough pressure to feel what's happening at the apex. I've just felt a slight change at the apex, and this is this comes from doing a lot of this. You develop your feel just by doing it. It's looking very good. See how the slurry is flowing over the edge easily. Yeah, hey Rick. Yeah, I haven't done a Arkansas edge in a long time. I like them, but I tend to gravitate. First of all, people send me razors, and they almost always want a Jnat edge. Yeah, look at that. Well, maybe you can't tell, but it's soundless again, completely soundless going into the packing peanut. So that's done, and it's going to get a little bit of stropping. I'm different from a lot of you in that I don't do a lot of stropping for sharpness. I do stropping for alignment. I do that. Alignment will give me slightly better performance in the packing peanut test. But I want the edge to have its geometry coming off the stone and not gain a significant change by stropping. That's just the way I do it. So I can get away or in my view, I can get away with less stropping for sharpness and more stropping for alignment. And what does that mean? Well, the apex isn't geometric like this. The apex is actually going to have lots of little teensy tiny fingers of metal that come up, and they're going to go in all directions. And what the strop will do is to align them, and in doing so, it will also convex that apex just a little bit. And I believe that little bit of convex shape, that little convex shape, adds a significant amount to comfort. I think I might be alone in that belief, but I have intentionally added that convex into the edge, and it works for me. And I've certainly handed out razors with that as well, and no one has said, "Oh, that's not comfortable because it's too convex." So, some food for thought. Well, let's see, we're at 36 minutes. That's pretty long for an edge refresh. So I just have dried this off. I'm gonna catch up with the chat here. See if there's anything anybody has a question on. Yeah, Keith is a reputable person. Dolomite Keith is pretty reputable to buy stones from. He certainly has a lot of knowledge on stones. Oh, and you've already tried it. Oh, good for you. Good for you. So yeah, good for you. That's great. Oh, well, Sean, this is a Jnat edge. I'm going to need to take it back to 1K synthetic and work up through 12K before I send it to you. But I'll tell you that it's a Jnat edge. So, Josiah, the difference for me, and it's good because we have a group of people who can weigh in with their observations. For me, a well done conical edge feels safe. It feels sharp, but it feels safe. I mean, it cuts well, but there's a safety to the feeling. With a Jnat edge, you put the edge to your face and it feels kind of soft, and the way at which it cuts always is a little surprising because it cuts so well. You don't expect it to cut so well given how soft it feels, and so to me those are the differences. I would say that it's likely that the Jnat edge is a little sharper, but if you get accustomed to shaving with different types of edges, your technique will tend to automatically adjust for slight differences in keenness. So that would be my explanation. I'm interested to see what anybody else says. I guess I can start in on something else while we're chatting. Maybe there's nobody left. Does anybody else have comments about the type of edge? No, apparently not. So I don't know. In the screen that I have here, I don't know. Oh. Ah, okay. Okay, great. That's helpful. That's helpful. So we're at 40 minutes. I can't even stand myself for 40 minutes. So I'm done with Sean's edge. Sean, I'll test shave this. You'll see a video. I've already shaved today. So I'll do a video for shaving with your edge tomorrow, and let you know whether it's any good or not. And if it's any good, then I'll get it out to you. And you know, I'll probably tell you that it's no good because I really like this razor. And so you know, you'll probably just be so angry with me. You'll just give it up and leave it. But you know, that remains to be seen. Oh, thanks, Rick. I mean, let's face it. Um, in terms of being simplistic, how hard is this, right? That's all I'm doing. Plus, I've got a sharpening guide. So there's a lot of nuances to sharpening a razor, and I won't deny that. But at the end of the day, that's really what we're doing is shaping something, shaping metal by removing metal. So it is pretty simple. All right, folks. I think I'm gonna cut this off because I'm tired of talking, and it's 5:44 here, Sunday, May 18th, 2025, and there's probably a long haul tanker video out for me to watch, and more importantly, it's cocktail time. So thanks, folks. I really appreciate you showing up, and I will see you for the